Hi everyone, it's very nice to see you all. My name is Nemirovsky. I'm an editor at Academic Studies Press, but I was trained as a musicologist and music historian, and for many years I worked as a music critic in the daily newspaper Kommersant. And opera was always a subject particularly interesting to me as a musicologist and as a music critic. So I thought that this theme would be a natural addition to our school, and the course which I propose to teach is Russian opera, Cosmopolitan art in the mirror of Russian nationalism. I will describe it very briefly. It is also supposed to be a fun course, probably not as fun as rock music, but still I plan for it to be a series of quite informal meetings with a lot of videos and illustration materials and discussions of, hands-on matters, not quite purely historical and ideological, but really the reality of theater public, of perception, and fun life around opera life. Fun facts around opera life. The course will be divided into 5 classes, and the literature, if it comes to literature, on which it will be based and which I would recommend to students, is all in English, though we didn't decide yet whether the classes will be held in Russian or in English. I guess we can customize depending on what the students would prefer. Very briefly, the course is designed to present an overview of the history of opera in Russia, both of the operas written in Russia and in Russian, and the social history of the opera theater in the Russian Empire and Soviet Union. Because of the syncretic nature of opera, it was perhaps more than any other kind of art, a display of the building of nationalist idea. And because of the dependence of the opera institutions from the state, it has always been a showcase of the artists and power subjects. The 4 centuries of the history of opera follow the trajectory between elitist genre of the art, cultivated at courts, and democratic mass entertainment. Though the history of opera in Russia is about 1.5 centuries shorter, it generally follows the same narrative, without twist though. When the opera first arrived there in the middle of the 18th century, it was a wholly imported product, delivered by the guest composers, mostly from Italy, and musicians from all over Europe. The slow process of emancipation from the imperial court and its tastes led to the first attempts at creating the operas in the national language, on the national themes, and eventually to operas accessible to wider audiences. I can present, and I will probably post it on the website, the more detailed description of these 5 lectures. But in general, the first of them will be devoted to the opera of the 18th century, what we know about it, how it went from completely important product, as I said, to like mixed Russian-European product. Then the second lecture will be on the story of Pushkin's works on the opera stage, because I believe that in general, Russian opera was in a quite unhealthy, codependent relationship with national literature, and Pushkin's works showcase this better than any other thing. So this class will be concentrated on on Glinka's Ruslan and Lyudmila, Tchaikovsky's Eugene Onegin, and then Stravinsky's Mavra. The third class will focus on the historical and mythological operas of the Mighty Five, which were which gave the which really highlighted the nationalist idea on the opera stage in its best and worst, so to say. Then another class will be on opera in the Soviet time. And I think maybe of particular interest could be, because it's a lesser known material, our meeting about the post-Soviet opera, where we, on the one hand, briefly touch on the newest operas, like The Children of Rosenthal by Leonid Desятников, and the collective tetralogy called Brilliance or Sverlice in Russian, which was written by a group of younger generation contemporary composers and staged in Moscow in 2015. And we will also look at Dmitry Cherniakov's work as a stage director and stage artist. The common concept for these new opera texts and the new interpretations of the old opera texts is the deconstruction of tradition and mythology of the national opera. Thank you so much.